Wouldn't it be nice if just 1 year every player in the NFL reported to training camp on time? Nice, yes. Improbable? Yes. Unfortunately, problems for teams often begin because of disruptions in training camp. So it was doubly nice today to see Dan Marino come to the Dolphins camp and say he'll stay. Even with contract problems, his $850,000 reporting bonus should tide him over. Last year, many a problem plagued the Dolphins in training camp. As Tony Segreto begins a 5-part 1986 preseason analysis with head coach Don Shula tonight, you'll see how in 1985 the Dolphins never really accomplished what they set out to do at the beginning of last year's camp.
Well, there's no question our objectives going into this year, 1986, have to be the same as they were last year because we didn't achieve any of our goals or objectives last year. I said at this time that we needed to improve our run defense so that teams couldn't control the football on us and keep the ball away from our offense.
Statistics bear Shula out. A poor run defense that ranked 23rd contributed to a poor overall defense, which was 22nd against the pass and ranked 23rd in the NFL. The Dolphins gave up record highs in total yardage, passing yardage, first downs, and first downs rushing. As powerful as Miami's offense was, the opponent's offense offset it in 5 major statistical categories in which the numbers were nearly identical and exactly the same in average gain per play.
And we were also worried about teams ganging up on our passing game and disregarding our running game, ignoring our running game, and that's what teams did last year.
The Dolphins' running game again failed to sufficiently complement the league's best passing game. The most yards gained in a game by a Dolphin back was 78. Longest run from scrimmage was only 33 yards. And the Dolphins lost a team record 20 fumbles.
They played us with many times, 3 people rushing Marino, 8 people deployed in the secondary, different types of zone or man coverage to try to take away especially the long ball. And in retrospect now, they were effective in doing it.
His preseason preview, Shula explains why it hasn't been a priority till now.
And when you got Marino as your quarterback, then you're not going to worry about establishing the running game.
But he is worried about getting more out of it. Tony Nathan is the strength of the Dolphins' running game, but in that strength also lies its weakness. Too much dependence on just one man, who was not only the leading rusher, but receiver. Other backs have to deliver when called upon.
Hopefully have somebody emerge to give Tony Nathan some breathing room as the back that's asked to play so much.
While Woody Bennett remains solid but unspectacular, Shula is hoping one of these 3 will break away.
In preseason this year, I'm really going to try to give it to Hampton a lot and see what he does. I'm going to try to give it to Joe Carter a lot and see what he does with the ball. Davenport, I was very pleased with him in his rookie year as a runner, and I think that he's going to come on with a lot more confidence and be a better all-around player, a more intense player on every down.
With defenses concentrating on stopping Marino's missiles, Shula must adapt his offensive philosophy and depend more on the running game for stability.
I've got to have more patience in my play calling. I can't be going for it as much as I've gone for it in the past because now we're getting situations where it's not there deep. And you have to have more patience either throwing underneath the coverage or running with the football and getting a first down running occasionally and mix that in with the passing game.
And weaknesses remain constant, so do their strengths. Dan Marino, his receivers, and offensive line all tops in the game. It starts up front, where despite year-to-year deletions, the offensive line is outstanding.
The offensive line, when you have the best center going for you in Dwight Stevenson, that makes you feel pretty good to start with. Roy Foster had a Pro Bowl year for us last year, and I look for him to get even better. Giesler had a tough year injury-wise. I hope John will be back. He's rehabilitating now. It's at a very slow pace. We had Cleveland Green go down because of injury, and then Ronnie Lee took advantage of that opportunity and had a good year for us. The same thing happened at the guard position where Steve Clark got the opportunity to play when Tays got hurt and Newman got hurt and gave us stellar play at the right guard position. And I think he's going to get better. I think Ronnie Lee is going to get better.
9 different receivers caught 10 or more passes last season. The super duo of Duper and Clayton combined for 7 touchdowns, down from 26 the year before. Nat Moore took up the slack, but a healthy Duper makes everyone better.
I feel good about our wide receiver position, but we need that year where we have a healthy Clayton on one side and a healthy Duper on the other side to really stretch the secondary and put a lot of pressure on them, and that opens it up for everything else.
Open it up is what Dan Marino does best. And with each passing season, Shula becomes more impressed with Marino's production and enthusiasm.
Dan Marino loves to play quarterback. Dan Marino makes practice exciting. He's a joy to work with because he's a very, very intense, competitive person. Somebody once said about him, and I think they really capture him, he's a winner because he's not afraid to lose.
And with those three assets intact, the Dolphins won't lose much in '86.
There's no question about that. New England, Raymond Berry's done a great job up there, and they now feel that they can win. Before they didn't know. Now they feel that they can win. And the Jets are a much improved football team. They've made some defensive changes in their coaching staff, and their philosophy is a much tougher philosophy, and they've got great athletes. Indianapolis is going to be better. Buffalo, you got to think sooner or later is going to be better because they've had a lot of top draft choices, and Bulla might be the coach that can put it together for them. So AFC East is going to be tougher than it's ever been.
Even though they lost the AFC title game, the Dolphins last year again showed one mark of a Shula team: character, which was largely responsible for getting them that far.
When you analyze the year and the things that we had to go through to come back and to win 8 games in a row and to get into the AFC Championship game, I was pretty pleased with what our football team showed, how they hung in there and believed and overcame a lot of adversity and still were able to accomplish.
But only one thing will please Shula completely.
Our goal, of course, is to get back into the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl. People keep reminding me that I've been in 6 Super Bowls and I've only won 2, and I have that in the back of my mind, and that certainly has to be one of my long-range goals, is to make that a winning record.